The Green Bay Packers are taking on the San Francisco 49ers this week in a matchup that many people probably wouldn't have expected a week ago. A lot of people were saying, like, oh, Dallas is going to destroy the Green Bay. I'm going to love watching the Packers, or watching the Cowboys beat up on the Packers. You don't know football because you think the Packers are going to beat the Cowboys. And look what happened. The Packers beat the Cowboys. Now an even greater challenge. But it's a matchup that the Packers can meet head on and maybe, just maybe, pull off that upset win. But let's get into it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and let's get into it right away. The Packers have been great the past month. Well, basically the last second half of the season, they've been great. Basically every week, Jordan Love has been slinging it and moving around the pocket with ease. So throwing minimal amounts of interceptions. 22 touchdowns, a 1 interception like the last 5-6 games. It's crazy. I don't think even Patrick Mahomes had a stretch like that. Maybe I'm wrong. You can let me know in the comments if I am wrong. But the Packers have everything going for them, and they have literally nothing to lose. The 49ers, on the other hand, are the number 1 seed in the NFC, the presumable favorite to win the Super Bowl, and they're just presumed to be the best team in the league, and they probably are. But they all do have some weaknesses the Packers may be able to exploit, starting with their secondary. The secondary is really not that great at times. They've been burned. They've been beat by really good quarterbacks here. They've been able to gang up or go on really weak quarterbacks, but the better ones, they've had torn apart. Basically, quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins and Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow lit them up. And a couple others. Kyler Murray had a great game against him about a couple weeks ago. They are not so good against good quarterbacks, and Jordan Love has been the hottest quarterback in the league, and I think Jordan Love can take advantage of them this week. Also, their rush defense hasn't been that great this week, or great this year. I mean, at times it is, but the main piece of their defensive line, their run-stopping player, is Eric Armstead, who is suffering with plantar fasciitis, and who knows which Armstead you're going to get this week. He's still a great player, and he's one of the more underrated defensive linemen in the league, but you just don't know what you're going to get with him. And when he's not playing at his best, the 49ers tend to struggle on against the run. Now, they still have a overpowering offense with the likes of Deebo Samuel, Brock Purdy, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, of course, who should be in the rankings for winning MVP. But you know how the NFL is. They don't give running backs MVP. The last running back that got an MVP was LT, I believe. Can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's it. It just doesn't happen. No matter how good of a season you have as a running back, you're just not going to get the MVP. But now let's talk about the Packers a little bit. And like I said, Jordan Love has been great. He's been slinging it, and I think he'll continue to do that this week. It is supposed to rain, though, so that maybe that brings down levels the playing field a little bit, making it more of a running game. But Jordan Love, I still think, can meet the challenge head on. Packers still got lots of great wide receivers, of course. Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, who didn't do a lot last week, but he was mainly a good distraction, running deep routes or running or interference for other wide receivers like Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Doubs, of course. Packers were great last week. Also, Luke Musgrave again and Tucker Kraft. It cannot be understated how important having two good quality pass catching tight ends and good blocking tight ends. Both of them have turned out very well. And everybody's like, Packers need to draft a wide receiver in the first round. It's like, they look at all the talent they got in this draft round from outside the first round in terms of offensive talent. Every one of them has been hit after hit after hit. Now, who's to say it's going to continue going in the future, but they don't need no number one wide receiver. When you got a bunch of developing picks that are getting better and better by the week, they're growing, they're getting stronger, and then let's get into the running game with Aaron Jones, who has been fantastic. Over 100 yards per game the last 4 games, and he's been running like a man on a mission. Looks fresher than he ever has this season. He looks great. He's going to lead that Packers team on Saturday. It's basically going to lead live or die by Aaron Jones. It's going to help loosen up the pocket a lot, and if the Packers can run like they did last week against the Cowboys, they have a really good shot. And it'll take off a lot of pressure off of Jordan Love. Another thing against the 49ers, while they have been able to tee off on the more mobile quarterbacks and generally knock them off their spot, the thing with a mobile quarterback like Jordan Love, he's not the most mobile in the world, but he can move around pretty good. If you're trying to move off your spot right away, it makes it a lot harder to game plan for that, because someone's always trying to move. It's always trying to move off your spot. So it doesn't matter if you're not on your spot. When you're a mobile quarterback always looking to move off your spot, make a play, move out of the pocket, and throw it down the field, which Jordan Love has been great at. And I hope he continues that this week. I think he has a really good chance to do that this week. The 49ers still have a great pass rush. I mean, when you got Nick Bosa, and there's your Javon Hargrave in the middle, you got Fred Warner, got all these big name pass rushers, all pro pass rushers, it's going to really put some pressure on their offensive line. And their offensive line has been great. Zach Tom has been one of the really underrated offensive linemen this year, and if he's not in the top 50 NFL players next year, or top 100 at least, I just don't know what you have to do, because he's been nothing short of spectacular most of the year. And like I said, with the mobile quarterbacks, as good as that pass rush is, if you're able to maneuver in the pocket, get out of the way, avoid the sack, it makes it really neutralizes the pass rush for the 49ers. And that's where their defense thrives. It's being able to get to the quarterback, knock him off, and just plow him into the ground. And Jordan Love can avoid that, can run, throw, and just get out of the way. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard for the 49ers to counter that. But still, the biggest thing with the Packers defense is just going to be able to slow down the run. Like they did last week, they did a decent job slowing down the run. They still had over 100 rushing yards, but overall, they were able to neutralize it to a point where, yeah, they got some rush yards here and there, and it built up to over 100 yards. But there was no real possession that really was based on the run, that really just thrived on the run, running down the Packers' throats. It just was never there. It would never really happen. 49ers are going to try to do that, especially if it's going to rain. They're going to try to establish that run early, get Christian McCaffrey going, and when he gets going, when he's running down the field, defense like the Packers, who's been playing well but still struggles against the run, might have a hard day. Can't be understated how important of a loss Kingsley and Agbari is. They do switch out their their outside linebackers a lot, but he took up a lot of snaps this year. He was very hard-working against the rush. Didn't have the most sacks in the world, but he's a really good run stuffer. And we may feel that on Saturday. So just going to have to, Lucas Van Ness and others are going to have to pick up that slack and really stop the run. If they can hold Christian McCaffrey to under 100 yards rushing, I consider that a win. Consider that a big success and a really key moving point to the Packers potentially winning the game. It's still going to be a long shot, maybe. It's still going to be a long shot, but I don't think as big of a long shot as people make it out to be. I think when it gets all said and done, I think the Packers do manage to find a way to win. I really do. Now, Anders Carlson is a problem, and watching him kick is very painful, so hopefully it doesn't come down to him. But I think the Packers have a really good chance to win on Saturday. Regardless, it's going to be a close game. Packers have have no pressure whatsoever to win. Yeah, I know I had some people in my comments section last week saying, yeah, they have pressure to win. But yeah, they do. They want to win the game, but Packers weren't supposed to be in this position anyway. And I'm going to continue to hammer that point, because a couple years ago, before the stupid 7 seed was picked, there was only 6 seeds. So a couple years ago, Packers wouldn't have even been in the playoffs despite beating the Rams. The Rams had a 1-game win advantage over them. So Packers, I think, are going to win. It's going to be close, 27-24. I think Packers are going to find a way to win. And if they can slow down that offense, especially in the rain, if they can keep that rushing attack going, and at the very least slow down McCaffrey to under 100 yards, Packers can do it. Packers can shock the world again. They can move on to the NFC Championship and have a dream scenario for NFL script writers. Detroit, Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. I think the Packers can beat either. If they make it that far, they can beat Tampa Bay or Detroit. the way they've been playing, just watch it happen. The Packers can win. Do not be surprised at all if the Packers win on Saturday night. And on Sunday, you're saying the Packers are in the NFC Championship game as the 7th seed in the NFC, ready to take on either the Detroit Lions or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But well, let me know what you think down below. Have a great day. God bless. And go, Pack, go.